ladies and gentlemen. So my name is Dr. Satnam Singh. I'm the Group Managing Director of MBizM and Lean Sigma Experts in Australia. Right, so the first series of the video will talk about defined phase deliverables. Now, I will show you a slide in a minute. These are the tools that are normally applied in defined phase. Bear in mind that these are essential tools that normally we deliver in a project, but can be customized further. Means that you can have a lot more tools applied than what is shown here, and also at the same time you can actually pick and choose the right tools for right project that you're working on. So I'll give you a minute to have a look at the slide for the defined phase deliverables. Now, defined phase is one of the I wouldn't say tough actually, but one of the most time-consuming stage in a project. Why? Because you really need to get a good project identified when you're doing a Lean or Six Sigma project. When I say good project, that means that a project that you do not have a solution that you want to work on, or you do not know the real root causes of the problem. In the order of the tools that are applied, not necessarily as shown in the slide earlier, you can start with any of the tools that you think that is suitable for the particular project. Normally what I would do is I would start with project charter first, just to get a draft charter. That means I'll have a project title, goals, the scope of the project, and so on done. Now once you have done the project charter, you have to justify that project charter with some relevant tools. For example, the next tool we'll be talking about in defined phase is drill down tree. For a large or complex project, you will have to break it down to a more manageable type of project, or you want to have a scope of the project being worked out. So in that case, for whatever project you have identified, you need to break down the project using the drill down tree. Then it comes to quantification. From the drill down tree, we can get some information, some numbers or figures for the items that we have broken down in the drill down tree, and we can use the numbers and figures from there in a Pareto chart. The function of Pareto chart actually is very simple. The 80-20 rule applies. That you will see that when you have a problem that you need to rectify, you will see that you can stratify into different categories, segments, and so on. What will happen then is that you will be able to see that 20% or 80% rule applies in this case, where there will be only few items that causes 80% of the problem. Just give you an example. Let's say you want to do a project on reducing defects. So first you can drill down tree, where you can break down the type of defects that they are, and then you can apply the 80-20 rule on choosing the most frequently occurring defects as a scope of work. Later, we can talk about CPOC. Now, CPOC stands for Supplier, Input, Process, Output, and Customer. The whole idea of CPOC actually is to get an overview of your project. Who are the suppliers involved? What are the inputs in the process? What is the process? Now, this process here is very high-level type of process map. High level means where the process is simplified in about 5 to 7 steps. Then we talk about outputs from the particular process and who are the customers. CPOC is particularly useful in the next phase as well, which is the measure phase. We'll talk about this measure in the next video. You can use CPOC from where you want to collect data. So if you are stuck in measure phase, you do not know where to collect data from, then CPOC is one of the tools that can be used to identify the location of data to be collected. Further than that, CPOC for defined phase also used mostly for the project boundary itself. How big is this project going to be? VOC analysis stands for voice of customer. Now, this is one of the most important tools. We need to identify the right customers. Even your next process can be your customer. Could be an internal customer, could be an external customer, could be your project champion or sponsor, or could be multiple customers that are stakeholders in your project. Now, in that case, we have to apply the VOC, try to identify what we call from VOC to CTQ, critical to quality, something that's measurable. So for example, if some customer says, your pizza service is poor, so we need to know what they mean by poor? Could be delivery is slow. So the delivery is slow, then we need to have some measurable, which is CTQ. So within what time? Let's say within 20 minutes, we should get the visa, then CTQ is 20 minutes. So VOC is tied very closely with Project Charter. Now, the next tool is Kano Analysis. This is optional tool. Sometimes we do use it in the project, sometimes we not. So you will see that Kano Analysis will look at your project and especially on stretch goals, right? So we look at their basic threshold, normally what is the project that needs to deliver. Then we have performance and excitement. So excitement, can we stretch our goals further? Again, this is optional because highly subjective. This is based on team discussions to see if we can achieve any other benefits while doing a project. Time plan is also important. We need to show to the management how long is this project going to take. Typically, a 6 Sigma project, if it's a green belt, normally you look at 3 to 4 months to say we do not have a solution of known causes that we are trying to solve. Or it can be even longer than that, 6 to 8 months for a black belt project. Now, if a project is too short, then you may not have uncovered enough details to solve. If the project is too long, then you're going to have people losing motivation. So we need to benchmark a project and how urgent the project needs to be done as well. So always you try to take projects from a very high level business aspects or some issues or concerns the company in terms of growth and so on. So we try to take a strategic project that we can work on in the next few months. Finally, the project cost or benefit calculation. Now, in any project, as you know it, we have to have certain calculation shown how much is the project going to save us. Now, it could be hard saving or could be soft saving. Now, hard saving, we know that any saving that has direct impact to the P&L, or we call it tangible savings, which can be quantified easily. Soft savings, sometimes some projects are very important to do, but they're soft savings where it's an intangible saving. We can't really calculate based on a P&L or expenses, but we can somehow justify it on the basis of what if we don't do this project. Okay. And the financial impact of the project. Some projects may need to use advanced financial calculations, some such as IRR, internal rate of return, payback period, and so on. We need to talk about the issues, barriers, challenges in summary. Now, in defined phase, there will be some issues faced. Maybe in our experience, I've shown sometimes there's not enough team members, sometimes there's no subject matter experts. There's some barriers as well. Sometimes it could be that the cost to do this project is too high or it's going to take longer than expected. There could be some challenges as well in the project. And also we can summarize defined phase. Now, for black belt projects, the next tool is QFD, which is quality function deployment. Now, this tool is optional, right? You may choose to use it, may not. In this tool, we can do a quality function deployment to match customer VOCs to our project or product design. So if you're actually working a project where you're going to do a new product design, then QFD tool is very useful. Or sometimes we need to match, there are a lot of VOCs out there. We need to match the VOCs against the customer requirements, so we can use the QFD tool as well. So in general, Project Charter is a high-level tool. It's a contract between you, let's say you're a project leader, green belt, black belt, contract between you and the project and sponsor and champions. So drill down 3, you break down the project charter down, the project title itself. Pareto charts, you use scope the project based on 80-20 rule. Then we use CPOC to be able to understand how big is this project going to be, and it's useful to measure state. VOC, as I mentioned, is a very important tool in defined phase where you need to understand the customer requirements. Kano analysis is optional, but it's something to use for if you want to look at stretch goals in your project. Timing plan, of course, how long the project is going to take. Project cost or benefit calculations with financial impact analysis to justify why are you doing this project in the first place, what are the savings, whether it's hard or soft saving, and any issues, barriers, and so on, any challenges or summary. And QFD is optional normally for a black belt project. So thank you for listening for defined phase. The next series of the video will talk about measure phase deliverables, which we will be publishing it soon enough. Thank you. Bye.